Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. Another week, another trade boost, my friends. I'll get into that later. Going to take a look at the teams. Fingers crossed as always. No carnage, please. Got me trade plans worked out, so I don't need anything to go and fuck that up. But thanks to everyone who tuned into the live session. Always good fun. They just keep getting better, to be honest. I mean, if you haven't popped into a live session, you got it. It's a great community, plenty of banter, and also a few new faces as well. So it's always awesome to see those familiar names, but also a few that pop in and ask a question for the first time. So my old man was on there watching too. And you got to be careful with some of the things Shorty comes out with. I didn't know Jeffy Boy was watching on, but loves a bit of banter, does Jeff. And particularly like the comment about, would you prefer to be on top of a camel getting explicit magazines thrown at you, or have a camel on top of you? I think that was the general gist of it. But that's just the sort of stuff that you get on that channel, so on that live stream. I'll get into the stuff soon because we got plenty to talk about. I've got I had the notes down somewhere. So there's plenty to talk about. We'll talk about Weddle versus Atkins, LDU, Drury, do you go early on him? Bailey Smith, how many trades you got left? And then, of course, Mills, Brayshaw, Steele. Lots to talk about. Should you go Darcy down to Gawn, etc. But I just want to throw this one out before I do. It has been cold this week, mate. I live down in Victoria. I'm in Geelong. And I hate the cold weather, mate. I fucking hate it. And this week, it's just hit me different. Today was actually a nice day. But I'm putting the open question out there. Have you ever thought of just packing up and moving somewhere, just chasing that sun? Have you ever just gone, you know what? I'm going to go the clean slate and just start afresh. I'd never do it. But I'll tell you what, I've got too many good mates, great family down here, rip a job. You know, I could never do it. I do love Geelong. You've got the Great Ocean Road. I'm right near Cardinia Park. It's fantastic. But I tell you what, when this weather starts to kick in, mate, I just want to be floating around in my shorts, little t-shirt, bro, and just feeling the sun on me back. When that wind starts to go through, I'm like, motherfucker, get me to surfer's paradise, bro. But anyway, something to think about on your Thursday night. Something else to think about is these teams. So be kind to me. Be kind to me. It's all I ask. Maybe we get a couple of rookies back. I just don't want any surprises that I just don't anticipate. Big game tomorrow night. I'm going to this one. Can't wait. Again, Cumberland omitted. He can't do a thing right, the young lad. But yeah, Cochin, mate. Hang him up, Koch. I'm going to give it to you tomorrow night. And then Flanders getting dropped. He also can't get a run at it. Nothing too interesting here. Again, nothing too interesting. Old mate Will Gould. Wow, Ben Cunnington dropped. That is huge. Not from SuperCoach, but very interesting from a AFL point of view. Fergus Green omitted. I think a lot of you guys were pulling the trigger on him already, but that certainly makes you go bang even earlier. Not too much to note, so we're good so far. Wow, Darcy Parish out injured. Fuck that. I think a few were bringing him in or planning to bring him in. Actually represents pretty good value, but you won't be now. But if you did bring him in, motherfucker, you'll be pissed off. Treloar goes out. That'll be handy for someone like Bailey Smith. Again, and this is the one. Just Rowan Marshall, be named, bro. Good boy. I know it's Sunday. Plenty can change. But that's good. That's good. No chaos yet. And happy days, ladies and gentlemen. That's happy days. Breathe a sigh of relief. I mean, didn't get any rookies back, I don't think. But that could be an issue come buys. Speaking of buys, this is about when you can actually start to... If you're having those 50-50 decisions, you can't split them. Well, maybe your buy structure can split it for you. So it's about this time of year that you can start to think about, I'm pretty heavy in this line. Maybe I need to go here or there. So there you go. Plenty of green dots, which is what we love. Says Van Rooyen is a tick. I have been flat chat with work, so I don't know if he's a tick because that's just like still there. Oh fuck, I don't know. What I just naturally type stats now when I type it in. 1 hour ago. I don't know. I can't be bothered looking for it. But anyway, I really hope he gets off, mate. I really hope he gets off. So let's dive into a few of these discussion points. First things first, LDU. Well, he's been an absolute disaster, mate. He's been the epitome of a roller coaster and a nightmare. So if you started with him, credit to you. But most of us brought him in round 3 or round 4. Round 3, he fucked you over. Round 4, okay, 102, whatever. And then since then, disaster. And if you kept the faith, it's been disaster after disaster. It's just got worse and he has to go. Puts him at a bad price point. But I'd be saying in that price, Andy Brayshaw, Jack Steele would be your guys. Callum Mills also in that discussion. So while we're on that point, a lot of people are asking me to rank these guys. I see Steele as still the main guy. For me, it just sort of comes down to trust. I mean, I think all of them are still playing pretty good roles. Mills has played a little bit more outside on that halfback flank. I don't think Steele's the absolute one and only in that engine room at St Kilda anymore. There's a few more going through there, but he's still a gun. Just comes down to who I can trust more. And I just have a lot of faith in Jack Steele. Only just. Personally, I think I'll bring Andy Brayshaw into my team this week. I wanted to see something. He had a good game the other week. Statistically, didn't correlate to SuperCoach points, but then he went bang on the weekend. So, worst comes to worst, he makes me a bit of coin, and then I trade him out in 2 or 3 weeks. But that's worst case scenario. Best case, he averaged 110 for the rest of the year, which I don't think is too outrageous. And then Callum Mills, I love him, absolutely love him, and he is back more in that midfield now. I just wouldn't mind having Rampy back in the team, just so there's no real option that Mills gets thrown behind the ball, and I just have a little bit more of a concern about that. So that's how I'm seeing that one. Weddle versus Atkins. It's the age-old, well, do I just bank the extra 80k straight up by going the cheaper option? I really do think Atkins could play a hell of a lot of good footy, particularly when Miller is out of the team. I know he's more of an outside guy, but it just gives him that opportunity. Because I presume he's like named on a wing or, half-forward flank or something. Where did they name him? I'm so blind. Am I going crazy? Why can't I see this bastard's name? Oh, there he is on the bench. Even better. It really should not have taken me that long to identify that. But he's racking up about 20-odd touches a game, even more sometimes. I don't think Weddle's a player that will score well, and I don't think he's like this oracle of job security either. Both of them could get dropped, so I don't really want to judge this one on job security. But I do think Atkins can regularly contribute to like 70 or 80. He does have potential to ton up, where I think Weddle, you definitely don't want him on your field. He'll throw in 30s. He might have the odd 70, but I much prefer Atkins. I think it's worth paying that extra K or extra price for what you can get out of him. Drury, look, if you have to go early on him, I guess the jury's out. Yeah, jury's out. See what I did there? Anyway, you could go early on him. And you could wait. It's not really a major discussion point. I mean, we need players to trade down to, and if it makes sense for your structure and your trade plans, then just do it. So, ideally, we always give them 2 games, but sometimes circumstance means is you can't. But Bailey Smith, I really like him. I put him on the radar a couple of weeks ago. He's hit 2 tons. Treloar's out, probably helps him. No centre bounces last week. Absolutely shook me. But he's a quality player who works up high on the ground. Might start half-forward flank, but definitely pushes up around the stoppage and finds plenty of the footy. So at that price, under 500k, definitely a good option. Myself, I don't feel the need to go bang just yet. We've got a guy like Darcy Cameron for the Pies, still under 500k, coming back somewhat soon. Some people will be rounding out their forward lines with Max Gawn in 3 to 4 weeks, assessing and predicting a dual position status. So, yes, I think it's worth considering him. And if it suits your side, it suits your price range, I think he's a good option. I don't put him in that you got to get him category at that price, but a very good option. And in terms of like Sean Darcy, there's a lot of talk about do I go Sean Darcy down to Max Gawn? If you want to play the stock market game, fair enough. I mean, if you got a few trades, go for your life, because Darcy hasn't done too much wrong, but he's got a break even at 155. He's 6'11". Then you go over to Maxi Gawn. He's come back really nicely, break even at 80, 512. So you're looking at 100k for very similar output, and you'll probably get Gawn as a forward at some stage. So it does make sense if you got Darcy. I mean, I like Gawn as an option. I mean, he's playing a bit forward, clearly. We're talking about him getting forward status. But I don't think he's going to be averaging these sorts of numbers that we've seen recently. I do see him averaging probably in the high 90s, still pretty good. So he might be a good option to just bank 100k, because 100k is pretty hard to find at the moment. We are struggling for those rookies and that type of thing. So I understand if cash is tight, it's more of that stock market trade, which is a bit more done in the AFL fantasy. But obviously we do have a lot of trades, so you can get away with this type of move if it suits how you're shaping up. It's not so much for me. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much summed it up. I mean, I think if you've got 16 odd trades left, then you're doing all right. I think most people have between 15 and 18. And I always say this. People are like, oh, I've got this many trades left. Is that bad? I'm like, well, let me see your team. I've got no idea, bro. You gotta look at your side and say, is this where it should be relative to my amount of trades? I think we should have a team of premiums with 9 or 10 trades left. Probably 8, 9, 10 trades to go. So if you're working on the rough model of a downgrade equals an upgrade, sometimes we need to get a second downgrade to get that upgrade. For example, if you have 16 trades left, I'd probably want you to only need to do 3 or 4 more upgrades. So if that puts it in perspective, if you got 12 trades and you only need 1 more premium, no need to panic, because you've traded well. If you're sitting there with 14 trades left and you still need like 6 or 7 upgrades, that probably indicates you haven't traded well and you have wasted some, and you're going to need, to go a bit deeper into your trades to make a full team of premium. So that's the way I look at it. It's not just the pure number. But anyway, I'm going to get stuck into uploading this one. Might have a cheeky cruiser tonight, I think. It's just been a big working week, and why not, mate? Why not? I'm off to the footy tomorrow night, staying the night in Melbourne, going to the Dogs and Carlton. Should be a good weekend of footy. And, going to get the old trades up on TikTok now. And, all the best, guys. Have a good one. Apologies, didn't get to too many comments on the actual videos, but hopefully we make up for that in the Wednesday live session. So I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers for tuning in.